Have you ever wondered what it takes to become a content manager? Well, in this video, I'm going to lay out exactly how to become a content manager in 2024. And by the end of this video, you will have all the steps required in order to become one. So make sure you stick around to the very end of this video. Content management often goes under the radar in the marketing realm, which is why I feel so passionate to share my insight on how to embark on a career as a content manager. But before we get into it, let me tell you a quick backstory. My name is Sahil Pandit, and I've been doing content management for over 5 years now. I got my feet wet working as a content manager during college, working with professional gamers, and I was able to turn that work into a full-time career, which I love. And I want to teach others how they can do the same. With that out of the way, let's get into the 5 most important steps that you need in order to become a content manager in 2024. I've seen this time and time again. People wanting to become content managers because it sounds like their dream job. Maybe this is the case for you as well. People talk about this job, career, and business all the time online, but don't know what skill sets they need to develop, the tasks required, they don't know how to write a resume, and they don't know how to land a job as a content manager. But in this video, I'm going to help you resolve these pain points so that you can get much closer to your goal of becoming a content manager. So let's not waste any of your time. What are the skills that a content manager has? For the sake of this video, I'm only going to be covering the specific skills that I would recommend you deliberately learn and practice in order to become a content manager in 2024. Number 1, social media strategy. If a brand is going to be hiring you, they have trust that you as a social media manager, content manager, have a game plan and strategy that you can utilize in order to help them meet their business needs. When it comes to strategy, this can be a vague term, so let's get specific on what that really means. Strategy refers to the plan of action that you plan on taking in order to achieve the business's goals. And if you have social media experience, you know just how much the landscape can change each and every day. Think of it like this. If I were a company and I wanted to hire you as a content manager, what would be the next 5 practical steps that you can take on their behalf in order to improve their social media, organization, or content production? Can you explain what you would do in these steps? As a content manager, it is your responsibility to be able to recognize this, understand it, and be able to relay that information to the rest of your team in a way that they can understand. Because let's be honest, they're hiring you to make their lives easier. Number 2, content creation and content curation. Now this goes without question. If you're going to become a content manager, you need to be able to aggregate content as well as be able to create content. No matter what level you reach in this industry, you will always need to know how to be able to create content. You may wonder, why would I be responsible for creating content as a content manager? Isn't my role just to be working with systems and tools? Well, the industry isn't to a point yet where content creators and content managers are separate, at least in the eyes of the employers. So knowing how to do both is going to be vital in ensuring your success. Think about it. The skills that you learn, you'll eventually be able to teach to others. And if you know how to do it well enough, this is the frame of mind that you need to take as a content manager. You will constantly be ahead of the curve if you're able to stay on the cutting edge of this information. You're constantly going to be sharpening your sword, leading the ways for others to learn from you. Alongside creating content, you'll need to curate existing content to supplement your own strategy. This involves sourcing relevant content, templates, videos, and graphics from various social channels that you can share with your audience. Effective content curation demonstrates your ability to stay updated on industry trends and provide resources to your audience. People want to feel like they're connected, which is why having an aspect of community in some way is important for brand building. Now, this is actually how I got my feet wet back in content in 2013. I was actually a content aggregator in the running niche, and I had a passion for running related content. And so I would find content all across social media, post it and repost it, obviously giving credit to those who posted it. And doing this, I was able to build up my social Instagram account to over 40,000 followers. This taught me so much about how to aggregate content, build a sense of community, as well as what trends were hot at the time. Aggregating content is such a great skill to have, and it'll only help you tell your story along your journey. Number 3, content scheduling and publishing. Okay, great. You know how to create amazing graphics and videos, but what about content publishing? This is an essential skill that you need to have, and if you do not have this skill, you will struggle to succeed in the marketplace as a content manager. Why do I say that? Because with content management, chances are eventually you'll be handling a large volume of content on a weekly basis, and you're going to need tools to help you publish. But just a side note, be aware that there's a difference between manually clicking publish and having a tool do it for you. Personally, I prefer to have manual publish. That way the algorithm knows that it's not an automated tool running your content system. I recommend you do this with all your content, so that way your posts get the reach that they deserve. Okay, so what tools do I need to know about when it comes to content scheduling and publishing? I'm glad you asked. There are so many different tools out there, and it can be really overwhelming to go through the nuances of all of them. I've personally checked out a ton of them, and I can confidently tell you this one thing. Once you've tried one, you're 80% there with all of them. So whichever one you choose, just go with it. This isn't me trying to sell you on using one versus another. It's more so me saying that once you try one, you'll feel pretty familiar with all the rest of them. But if I had to mention their names, what would they be? Monday.com, Later.com, Trello.com, Metricool, Buffer, Sprout Social, just to name a few. These are some of the tools that come to mind when it comes to publishing that you can check out, and you can see which one makes the most sense to you. Regardless, you'll need to know how they work. Number 4, systems and processes. There needs to be structure in everything that you do. If you want to be a content manager, you must understand the importance of structure and the role it plays in your day-to-day. One example of this is your daily workflow. You must focus on increasing your efficiency to ensure that you're consistent in your efforts and your output. Another example of this is having well-defined processes for content ideation, creation, review, and publishing. Personally, I'm constantly using apps like Google Docs, Microsoft OneNote in order to maintain momentum with my content management projects, and I highly encourage that you do the same. Implementing systems and standard operating procedures is super important for content managers. It's like having a well-defined roadmap that keeps everything running smoothly and consistently all across your platforms. You know what you're doing, the steps involved, and each step from ideation to completion. The SOPs help organize tasks like creating content, setting up schedules, interacting with followers and your team, and this makes it easy to assign jobs and make sure your content is top-notch. Secondly, SOPs ensure that the brand's identity stays strong and follows all your brand guidelines. They lay out how to approve content and everything in line with your brand's goals. Also, they make analyzing data a breeze, helping content managers make smart decisions for the future. In short, systems and SOPs are the backbone of social media management, helping content managers juggle everything efficiently and effectively. So what does a content manager do? Allow me to walk you through a typical day of what it would look like to be a content manager. Now, this depends on the nature of the project you're working on, but I'll give you a quick snippet of what this could look like for one of my clients. So the typical day could look like starting around 9 a.m., where I would check emails, messages from my team, check Discord to hear from the creatives I work with. This will inform me of what's going on, what the status is on different projects, videos, and things of that nature. Once this is taken care of, I know what the status is on projects. I will typically focus on content creation. This could look like using tools such as Canva for graphic design or Veed for video editing. After content creation is done, that is where captioning posts needs to be generated. If you need help with that, ChatGPT is a great resource to help get your thoughts flowing. Once this step is done, the content is emailed or sent over to the higher-ups using Google Drive. And throughout the day, I'll start planning for the next video, the next piece of content, as well as the next week. It's important that you allocate time to stay up to date on what's going on around you, so that way you can stay up to date with any trends that may come up. With all that being said, how do you find jobs as a content manager? Okay, so you know the tasks and you know the skills, but that begs the question, how do you find jobs as a content manager? I'm glad you asked. Where you have the most success on this depends on how you want to approach it. Personally, I've found that you'd have the most success by writing a resume, downloading an extension called JobScan, and applying to jobs via LinkedIn. In fact, I was able to get a response from a company within 5 hours of applying for their role. They wanted me to set up a phone interview, and most people don't even hear back within 5 weeks, let alone 5 hours. So when I say that this method works, try it out and let me know how it goes for you. I've attached the extension in the description down below. Make sure you go ahead and check it out and tailor your resume towards it. Speaking of that, how do I write a resume? Okay, so none of this will be applicable if you don't have a resume and aren't actively sending out job applications. I am telling you to use this exact structure that I have in my resume. Steal it and use it for yourself, because this is the exact template that I used in order to land some of my highest paying client work. The doc can be found in the description below, so go ahead and download it and swap out my information for yours. Make sure to keep it all on one page so that way the ATS system knows what keywords to scan for. For example, if a job has certain keywords, make sure that you have those in your resume so that way you get one step closer to being in front of a human when they're reviewing your resume. The reason why this template is so powerful is because it allows for you to swap out the keywords that I have for the keywords that your job description may have. This will boost the likelihood of the ATS system picking up your resume and putting it one step closer to the hiring manager. Last point I want to cover is how do you tailor your unique offer and experience? When it comes to offering your unique experience, this is such a common struggle for many people, but I finally got closer to answering this exact question. Personally, I struggled on this topic for quite some time because I had many different interests. In fact, I switched my passions so many different times. People often told me that this was a flaw, but I later realized that this was a strength. I say this because you must resist the urge to go in all these different directions and you need to develop focus. If you have multiple interests, I promise that in today's day and age, you can monetize that in some way. Instead of listening to a ton of different sources and going in every direction, I narrowed my focus down into just a few key areas. What this did for me was give me the clarity that I was searching for, which allowed me to break through and discover my unique selling proposition. To improve your chances of getting a job as a content manager, you need to know what makes you different from other candidates. Think about your unique skills, experiences, personal qualities that are important for the job that you want. Next, research the company and industry that you want to work in. Learn what challenges the company faces, its culture, and what qualifies you for that job. Using this information, create a clear and strong statement about your unique skills and how you can help solve the company's problems. Make sure this statement is specific to the job application to show why you're the best fit. And when you have a chance to talk in interviews, speak confidently about the projects that you've worked on in the past and the ones that you were the most proud of. Now, I want to leave you with this last message. You need to focus on what your strengths are and shed the layers around you that are not serving you. That may look like consuming less content, journaling about what sparks your interest, your curiosities when it comes to social media, or maybe even journaling about why you want to do this in the first place. Remember, becoming a content manager isn't just about acquiring skills. It's about being committed and playing the long game. As the market shifts, so should your strategy. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box below, including the free resume template and the job extension to see if you're the right fit for the job, as well as my school community where I help aspiring creatives like you become content managers. Feel free to check out the other videos on my channel to gain insight and tips on content management. Keep striving for excellence, and I'll catch you in the next video.